get in. We figured that out, so it'll be a little easier going forward. The first thing we want to do is just say welcome, and we're glad you're here. We have three interpreters, like we've already mentioned. We have a representative from the Puget Sound Skills Center who will be going first this evening, and then we have two representatives from Highline Community College to talk about Running Start. One thing real quick is that probably 95% of our students that do Running Start do go to Highline College, but it's not the only option. For some of you that live far in our northern boundary, South Seattle may be closer, or you may want to go to a different one, but overwhelmingly, most people do go to Highline. I want to take a chance to introduce ourselves. First, I am Frank Blatany. I'm one of the 5 school counselors at Mount Rainier, and I have students 9th to 12th grade, last names starting with A, B, and C.
I'm Gina Fiorito, and I am another school counselor, all grade levels, students' last names D through H.
Hi, good evening. My name is Chrysalyn Lopez. I'm also a school counselor, and I have students with the last names I through MO.
Hi, I'm Christina Grunsmanis, another one of the Mount Rainier school counselors. I serve students' last names MU through SC.
Hi, I'm Will Freeman. I have students SE to Z. I'm also a school counselor.
And my name is Paul Rickards. I'm one of the assistant principals at Mount Rainier, and I oversee our 11th and 12th grade students.
So we're about to get started. A couple of things that if you want to ask a question, you can put it in the Q&A, and it will, if several people are asking the same question, then we will have one of our guest speakers actually answer that question live. If it's a little more specific, then we will try to answer those in the chat, or the Q&A rather. And we will also, we are recording this, so this will be available afterwards. So up first tonight is Jeff Ferry. He is the school counselor at the Puget Sound Skills Center, and he's here tonight to tell you just about the PSSC and hopefully answer any questions that you may have. So Jeff, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Blakely. Welcome, everybody. Happy to be here for this annual registration at Mount Rainier. And tonight I am representing the Puget Sound Skills Center, which is part of the Highline School District. And the first thing that I would like to show you is where you can access our PSSC video with students speaking about what they like about the Puget Sound Skills Center. I'm not going to show it live tonight because everybody's internet strength is different, and it'd probably be best if you just view it by yourself when you can. So let me show you how you can access that video on the Highline School District website. So if you go to the front page of the Highline School District website and go up to schools, the Puget Sound Skills Center, is underneath Choice Schools. Once we close that out, you see it say welcome to PSSC, and you just click on the PSSC video and it will take you to the link via YouTube. It's a wonderful chance to listen to these young people that you see in the photo even talk about the programs again at PSSC, what they love about them. So next, I would like to go through presentation about the specific programs at the Puget Sound Skills Center and how your son or daughter could enroll as an 11th and 12th or 12th grader at the Puget Sound Skills Center. So the Puget Sound Skills Center has been around in the Highline School District for 55 years now, actually, and is probably one of the best kept secrets around the area for young people. So I'm going to talk about tonight just briefly the history of PSSC. Why would a student want to come to PSSC? And then all the programs that we offer. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the next steps to becoming a student at the Puget Sound Skills Center. So PSSC has been around since 1966. It was the first multi-district skills center in Washington State. And we not only service the Highline School District, we also have students from Federal Way, Tukwila, Tahoma, Kent, some from private schools. So we have quite a variety of students that attend our programs. Several years ago, we were lucky enough to secure the funds to be able to develop a brand new healthcare building for our healthcare programs. And so the students that are in our healthcare programs are in a wonderful site now. And those healthcare programs I'm going to cover in a minute, along with all the other programs. So talking about the Puget Sound Skills Center, there are several reasons why a student would maybe be interested in coming to PSSC. One is to be a part of a campus that has a college type environment. Two is to participate in a career technical program at the high school level. Three is the opportunity to focus on a program of choice. So we're not going to force a student to take any program or be in any program that they don't have an interest in. All of our instructors come from industry. So for example, our auto tech instructor worked in the auto tech industry before he is the teacher of our program. And then our students have the opportunity to transfer their career technical experiences to post-high school setting, college, or go out into the immediate workforce if they choose. So some other things about PSSC. Your son or daughter, if they come to PSSC, would earn high school credit toward graduation in this unique setting. They can earn workforce certifications in numerous programs. They can earn college credits for free through our programs. And then we have what is called equivalencies. And the counselors in this Zoom are always very excited when they have the opportunity to use the equivalencies that we offer at PSSC in our programs. These are just some of the colleges that we have agreements with in our programs. You can see it's a vast amount of colleges where students get that free college credit through our programs. And if they choose to go to one of these colleges and enroll in that same program, they transfer those credits into the program. Trying to get this out of the way here. Just popped up. This thing just popped up.
If you have questions about Running Start, I would encourage you to wait for the Running Start presentation.
Does this happen?
I think that a lot of those questions will be answered as they go through. But certainly we welcome questions about PSSC right now.
Go to down here. Close that, and then just close that. There we go. Now just reshare.
Okay, I think I have it solved here. Just had to close a couple things that popped up. Sorry about that. So the first program I'd like to talk about just briefly is our Biomedical Research and Global Health program. These are students that will learn foundations of biological science. This is a partnership program with Children's Hospital, and some of the careers that are offered through this program down the road would be lab tech, clinical research assistant, and a biomedical researcher. We have our dental assisting program. Students learn pre-clinical dental things. Students learn health and safety, chair-side assisting, and some of the careers that they can eventually delve into as dental assistant, dental lab technician, dentist, and orthodontist. Our nursing assistant program is very popular. We have a lot of students that want to work in the healthcare industry and help people. They can get into careers in nursing assistant, physical therapist, ER technician, registered nurse, and doctor. Students in this program, when they complete the skills that they need to complete, have the opportunity to take the Washington State Nursing Assistant exam. If they pass that exam in the spring at the end of the program, they are officially a nursing assistant and can go out and get a job. We have our culinary arts program. This is one of several programs around the United States that is the American Culinary Federation certified program. In a normal year, when we weren't working online, we have a restaurant that seats 74 people that can come in at any time during the week when the restaurant is open to eat the food that the students prepare. They work on 6 different ethnic and regional menus during the year. And some of the jobs that they can take on down the road with these experiences: a chef, restaurant manager, caterer, event coordinator, and a pastry chef. The Aeronautical Science program through PSSC is partnershiped with the Museum of Flight at Boeing. These are students that want to become professional pilots, air traffic controllers, airline dispatchers, airport airline managers. This is a 3rd session program that actually runs after school from 3:15 to 6 p.m. We have our fire services program, which is run by retired King County firefighters, Captain Ron Harvey and Chief John Madsen. Students in this program can get into careers in firefighting, emergency medical technicians, dispatchers, and wildlife firefighters. We have 2 auto programs. One is auto body, that is working on the outsides of cars. So students are learning the skills to be paint preppers, refinishers. They work in a spray booth. They could become auto painting specialists. They could even become insurance appraisers. Aerospace manufacturing and engineering is another program that partnerships with Boeing. This year, we unfortunately had to put that program on hold, but we do expect to have that up and running again in the fall if your son or daughter would like to be in that program. Or if we do end up having summer school, which is an opportunity of 14 days to learn about a program. But you can see that students in this program learn manufacturing skills, engineering skills, and design skills. Our Animation Academy is for students that are very artistic. They will be learning 2D art, Adobe Photoshop, After Effects, digital sketching, which leads to careers in advertising, publishing, gaming and animation, web design, and portfolio of work. Our auto tech program is that second program, and that's working on the insides of cars. So students are learning to diagnose and troubleshoot engine performance. They're learning the electrical systems of a car. They're learning steering and suspensions and learning brakes. Lots of jobs in this industry if you have the skills, whether it's at car dealerships, high performance race cars, parts and sales. There's quite an opportunity in this field. Fashion design and marketing is for students who are interested in learning about the design and fashion textile industry. There are careers at being a designer, a buyer, a retail manager, a visual merchandiser. In a year where we weren't working remote, the culmination of this program is actually a field trip to New York for a week in January, and they go to the fashion workshops in New York. Marine Science Technology Program, I think one of the greatest secrets around the Highline District area. The campus is down at Seahurst Park. It's a wonderful view, and the students who are in this program are learning skills about seamanship, navigation, marine safety, and they partnership with the Seattle Aquarium. Think about all the water around our area and the opportunities for jobs as marine biologists, oceanographers, fishery technicians, etc. Japan video game programming. These are students who grew up playing video games and now are learning how to make video games. There's a little bit of math involved with this program because students are using their math skills to learn how to use C and C++ programming. But there's a lot of demand for video game designers and programmers out there in the industry. College IT is another one of our tech programs. Students in this program are learning network administrator skills. They're getting industry standard equipment skills. They're getting IT industry certification. A lot of this program, the curriculum is online, so it's been pretty compatible with this online environment we've had to work in, and it's actually worked out very well for the students in this program. We have our criminal justice program, where students are learning the basics and knowledge of criminal law, criminal court systems, police and patrol procedures, and criminal investigations. And again, there are a lot of jobs in this career pathway, not just as a police officer, but you can see Homeland Security detectives, lawyers, officers in city, county, and state, etc. Our construction technology program focuses on the fundamentals of design and building. They build tiny homes in this program when we are on site. And there are a lot of apprenticeship opportunities, which a lot of times leads to employment for students. Finally, we have our translation and interpretation program. We have a lot of students in our district and in the districts that we serve that speak 2 languages, 3 languages, but now they're going to learn the interpretation services skills to step into a position, whether it's in a school, in a business, to be able to interpretate and translate for people in different languages. And you can see there's careers in medical interpreting, court interpreting, business interpreting, and so forth. So the next steps to becoming a student at the Puget Sound Skills Center is where the homeschool counselors from Mount Rainier will help your son or daughter. So if your son or daughter has an interest in attending one of our programs next year, they would want to contact their counselor at Mount Rainier and let them know that they are interested in registering for the fall of 2021.
I'm going to jump in really quick, Jeff, and just say,
Yes.
we're going to have registration when we do our normal registration time, which should be happening in February. That's our plan right now. At time, you'll indicate to us that you're interested, that you want to register for PSSC, and you will also submit an application to us at the same time as registration. So please don't email us and say, I want to apply to PSSC right now, like after you finish this. Just know that it will be part of the next steps in registration in a few weeks from now.
And then, Ms. Ferriero, could you explain to the families in this webinar, or I can, what a student's schedule would look like once they were enrolled in a PSSC program during the school year?
Sure. I'm happy to. If we, just assuming that we're back on a regular schedule and in person next year, a typical schedule, you would be either at Puget Sound Skills Center for their morning session or their afternoon session. And then you would have your other 3 classes at Mount Rainier. So you might go to Mount Rainier in the morning, and after 3rd period, you would leave and go to PSSC for the rest of the day. And at Mount Rainier in 11th grade, you would take language arts, math, and then either a US history or science class. And then your senior year, if you decided to continue at PSSC, you would finish out the remaining credits that you need for graduation with us your senior year, and then take your PSSC classes as well. So anything else you want to add on that? No.
No, that you hit the whole thing. Very good. And then the last couple just quick things before if there's any questions. PSSC is having their own virtual open house night, and it's going to be Wednesday, February 10th. We're going to be doing a mass mailing to all families of a flyer that explains how they can be involved with our open house. And it's going to be a really great opportunity for you to actually meet our instructors, because the way we have it set up is each program is going to have a different Zoom, and families will be able to go into as many Zooms as they want to, meet the instructor, learn more details about the program, and ask as many questions as you want. And so again, that's Wednesday, February 10th, and that's going to be from 5 to 7 online. And then
when you're ready, there's a couple questions in the chat.
Okay, and the last thing I'll just briefly say is typically we have a summer session. It's very popular. It's 14 days, and it's an opportunity to just learn about a PSSC program on campus. We're not quite sure if that's going to happen yet, and so that's kind of a waiting game. But believe me, if we find out that we're able to have it this summer, we will be getting information out to all the families in the district. And with that, I guess I'll open it up for any questions.
We've been answering a lot of the questions as they go in the chat, and now I think that they've pretty much mostly been answered. So if there are any additional questions, we'd ask you to type them in for PSSC. We'd ask them to be typed in the chat now, and then if there's nothing else, we'll move on to Running Start since it's 6:30. There is one question around someone who might be interested in criminal justice, and that PSSC could be an option for that, or Running Start. And I think that might be, there is PSSC does have a criminal justice program, and then of course at the college you can take classes in that. So I feel like you guys are the experts to maybe speak on what that might look like in either place.
Well, I would say it either is definitely a great option. you know, you could consider if you come to PSSC to the criminal justice program as that first step to starting to learn the skills in the program, and then transferring those skills to Highline College, the criminal justice program there. I know with Running Start, you have to take, you know, more basic core classes before you can get into some of the specific majors there. So PSSC would be a wonderful opportunity for those basic skills before a student would go to Highline College.
I don't know if you can see the questions. I can read them to you if that's easier, if you see them.
Yeah, no, I can see them.
Okay.
Patrice, you asked, is nursing a 2-year program? It can be. And the reason I say that is because we have some students who choose the pathway of doing nursing 1 year, and they get their clinicals and they get their certification. But then the second year they do biomedical research. So 2 fantastic programs to have on a resume in the healthcare industry when a student finishes at PSSC.
And I would say there's a lot of questions about the nursing program. So bookmark your calendar for that open house night and really make that a priority to learn those details.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you some details, but I'm not the expert on it. And I would really encourage you to go to our open house, because Miss Jane and Miss Wendy, who are the instructors, will answer everything about the program then.
Summer program, yeah.
Yeah, typically we start the summer program the week after Highline School District gets out of school, and then it runs like 14 days to say like July 12th or something like that. It just depends on the calendar, but it's always 14 days, and it starts pretty quickly right after the end of the regular school year.
Okay. I think any other, so I see a lot more questions are continuing to pop up.
Yeah, so somebody asked about aerospace engineering would help with getting a career in the field. Definitely, the skills you learn in the aerospace engineering program would actually offer you an opportunity to be hooked up with an internship at Boeing through the program. And so you can choose to further your education in the aerospace industry by going to college and continuing your skills. But the skills that you will learn in aerospace with the drafting and the welding and the 3D and the CAD, those are all skills on a resume that will make you very desirable to be hired somewhere.
I'm wondering if, Mr. Ferry, if you're comfortable typing in answers at this point, and we transition to our Running Start presentation.
Sure, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that and let Running Start take over.
Awesome, just keeping an eye on time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, thank you, everybody.
All right, Karen and Chase, it's your turn.
All right, thank you. I'll go ahead and share my screen. I have a presentation prepared. Good evening, my name is Chase Meglioka. I'm with Highline College Running Start, and also with us this evening is Karen Steinbach. Karen, do you want to say hello?
Oh yeah, hello, welcome.
Karen's actually our program manager, and she actually advises a lot of our Running Start students. So you may all actually, as students, work with Karen when you start. I just want to make sure that folks can see my screen, my presentation. Okay, awesome. Just 1 second. I need to see it as well. All right, so this evening, I'm going to talk a little bit about what Running Start is. A lot of you probably have a pretty good idea of what it is, but some of you maybe not so much. So we'll talk about some basics. about what Running Start is. We'll talk a little bit about why students go to Highline College to do Running Start. We'll talk about our academics that we offer at Highline. And then we'll finish off with kind of our steps to getting started, and then we'll take on some Q&A. Just to remind everyone, if folks have questions throughout our section, feel free to type it in the chat. Sorry, not the chat, the Q&A. And then Karen will respond to those questions. So what is Running Start? Running Start is something that's called a dual credit program. It's offered across the state of Washington for high school juniors and seniors who are enrolled in public schools, which would be the majority of you all, or you'll be maybe a junior next year. So students earn credit towards high school graduation requirements, as well as college credit.
That's my last question.
That could go towards a college degree. One of the benefits of Running Start is that students get to experience the college environment as a college student would. Obviously, during this time, all learning environments are a little bit different as we're operating virtually on computers, but still you're going to be in college classes and experience that college rigor. So some of the benefits to Running Start, one of the biggest benefits is the cost savings to families. Running Start covers the tuition, which is the cost of your classes in college. That's covered through Running Start. There's other expenses that Running Start doesn't cover that we'll talk about a little bit later. Another benefit is that our class schedule is pretty flexible. Again, we're kind of in a unique situation right now being online, where all of our classes are currently online, but we have essentially two different options. Some classes are held at specific times where you have to log into the computer and meet from a certain time from maybe 10 to 10:50 Monday through Friday. Other classes are more flexible that are on something called Canvas, which is a system that the college uses where students could log into the computer and work on their coursework on their own time. Students will still have due dates for assignments, test dates, and other deadlines. However, generally students are able to log in at their own time. When we are on campus, class schedules are also flexible where we have classes in the mornings, afternoons, and evenings. And generally we still have some classes that are online. So for students who prefer that, that will most likely continue when we do end up going back to campus. We have a variety of class options where you can take classes in subjects like English, psychology, sociology, etc. So you have tons of course options that fulfill most of your high school graduation requirements. We'll talk a little bit about that later too. For students who attend Running Start full-time, starting their junior year and attend full-time through graduation, those students have the potential to earn an associate degree, which is a 2-year college degree. And we offer various associate degrees as well. So these degrees, if you're a student who's looking at going on to university to earn a bachelor's degree, your associate degree will generally cover your first 2 years at university. Generally, we call those general education requirements. So kind of like in high school, you have to satisfy a certain number of English credits, a certain number of math credits. In college, you'll also have a certain number of general education requirements that you must satisfy before moving on to your major or the area that you really want to study and focus on. So completing an associate degree can benefit students who are planning on going to university, where then those are generally satisfied and students may have an additional 2 to 3 more years to finish their bachelor's degree after high school. So this first bullet point kind of covers that. So in Running Start, you can work on an associate degree and prepare to transfer credits to university. I also like to note that students who don't earn an associate degree can also still transfer any credits they've earned in Running Start after graduating from high school. At Highline, we also have a program called Career Start. That's basically Running Start for students who want to do any of our hands-on professional technical degrees. We'll cover a little bit more about the degree options we have a little bit later. I also like to note that students can participate in Running Start regardless of their citizenship status. That's a question that comes up occasionally. And students, you don't have to be a citizen. You could be undocumented and still participate in Running Start. And then I also want to note that we have many support resources and services available to students, like tutoring, library services, scholarships, etc., that might be available to you. Some considerations to keep in mind if you're interested in Running Start, again, is the cost. So Running Start covers tuition, which is the expense of your college classes. However, Running Start does not cover things like course fees, textbooks, and supplies.
Chase, can I interrupt you for a second? Because I think you're going through a slideshow, but we are stuck seeing the first screen.
Oh my gosh, thanks.
And I think I am just realizing that when you referenced a bullet point.
Thanks for catching that.
Maybe stop share and then reshare.
Yes, I'll try that.
Now I'm seeing the considerations tab or page, but still within the, not in the presentation mode, but in the PowerPoint mode, if that makes sense.
Can you all see that now?
It's in the presentation mode, so we can see it, but it also has like the next slides and your notes.
Oh.
So if you want us to see the behind the scenes there.
I'm going to see if I can share. It's on my other, I have dual monitors, and my presentation is on the monitor that is probably not showing.
Definitely been there.
Maybe while you're pulling that, I'm just scrolling through some of the questions. I'm just thinking if we can maybe fill a few seconds while you're pulling the presentation with some of these. I see a question about, we've been trying to answer them live as well, but there's a question about, does Running Start provide credits for art, etc.? Remember that this is a college, so they offer everything and more. So there's everything that you would need to graduate from high school is something that you can take at the college. I don't know, I'm not sure if I understand the question about registration times differing depending on the credits needed. Everyone would get their own registration time depending on, like if you're new, your registration time might be a little bit later, and the longer you're at the college, you'll get an earlier registration time.
I think for the sake of time,
Yes.
I'll go ahead and continue from this view. Is that, all right, is anyone having difficulty viewing what's showing right now?
Right now I can see the considerations, and then I see that you're on slide 7.
Perfect. Okay. I apologize, but I'll continue from this view if that's okay.
Sure.
To answer the question, that's correct. So new students would have latest priority to register as students who've been at the college for 1 to 2 years, who have accumulated more credits, are closer to graduation and need very particular classes to wrap up or finish their degrees or programs, they register first. And it's usually in an increment of 25 credits. So students who have 75 or more credits register first, and it continues down the line. However, we have a lot of classes, and as long as you are enrolling, generally as soon as registration opens, you'll most likely get the classes that you need. And as new students, there's going to be plenty of options for you. So to continue on with the considerations, again, you want to consider the costs the costs involved in participating in Running Start, such as fees, textbook and supplies. Students are also responsible to pay tuition for additional credits. So for example, most college classes are 5 credits each. 15 credits, or in other words, 3 classes is considered full-time. Anything above that is the responsibility of the student to pay for. Also, classes that are below college level, the most common case is a pre-college math class like Math 91. I know right now that might not mean a whole lot to you, but you'll learn a lot of that during placement. Tuition is charged to students who take pre-college math classes, as well as summer quarter. We run on a quarter system, so we run on fall, winter, and spring quarters. We also have a summer quarter, and many Running Start students do take summer quarter classes and pay out of pocket for those classes. Transportation is also an expense that the student is responsible to pay for. However, obviously, currently, there's no transportation needed. I guess more so what you want to consider is your ability to be able to log into classes and participate online from home. So that's something to consider as well. I do want to note that we do have something called the Running Start Fee Waiver and Textbook Assistance Program. So if you qualify for free or reduced lunch in high school, or if your family makes within a certain income range, you could qualify for this program. And what that does is waives any of the class fees. And then that also makes you eligible for a textbook stipend that you can apply for every quarter. So that does cover some of the costs to participate. However, these other costs, like summer classes, would still be your responsibility to pay for. So some other considerations, there's this slide, but I do want to note something that's not on this slide is that our college is still currently operating remotely. I am not aware of any current plans that the college is reopening to have in-person instruction. I do know that for spring quarter, we will be online. However, with fall quarter being several months away, the college has not yet made a decision on whether or not we'll be reopening in fall. I would recommend checking our college's website for more information on that throughout the months, and information will get shared with the campus community and students as soon as possible once a decision is made. So I do want to note that. Some other considerations listed here are responsibility and maturity are key to college success. So again, especially with classes being held online, it's going to be on you, the student, to make sure that you're logging in and participating in class, getting the information that you need to be successful. Your instructors are going to be available, obviously, for help, but you'll need to make sure that you're attending and meeting deadlines for classes. You, as a Running Start student, are beginning a college GPA, a college transcript, not just adding to your high school transcript. So that may have future impacts on your academic progress if you're planning on going to university, let's say. If you apply to university, they're going to ask to see your college transcripts at Highline. So just know that you're starting an official college record that will follow you to future academic plans. I also want to note that parents and families do have limited access to student records at the college through FERPA. Although your students are still high school age students that are underage, because your students now enrolled as a college student, they, as far as record release, still abide by college policy. I do want to note too that family members and parents are encouraged to attend advising appointments. So oftentimes that's an opportunity to have a discussion with your advisor, your student, and yourself about student records and student progress. At the end of each term, we do send grades to the high school. So obviously it has to go back to the high school to count towards the student's high school record or transcript. And so information can be accessed that way as well. Parents have access to their students' records at the high school for sure. Yeah.
Before you move on to another slide, I just want to really emphasize the slide you are on. It's so important. So parents and families and students who are on here, these things are things that we cannot emphasize enough. And also, I just really want to point out that for those of you that are in 10th grade right now, you've really had 6 months of high school in-person experience. And the last year has been, we've been doing the best we can, but it is a different experience. So really consider these things when you're making your decision about next year. If you're thinking about Running Start, it might be a big leap to have had 6 months of in-person high school experience to go to college. You may decide to wait until your senior year, and that's fine. You don't have to start Running Start as a junior. If you need a little bit more time and experience to kind of build up some of these, bits of responsibility and independence before you move on to college. So I just really want to emphasize that while I have a parent audience in front of me, because we just can't say that enough.
Yeah, thanks for adding that. Yeah. I want to stress communication. That's what we see as one of the biggest challenges that Running Start students face, is that, especially during these times, is the communication piece. When things are happening, or if you don't know the answer to something, it's better to reach out and ask earlier on than to let it wait and fester and then end up being an issue. So we really, really emphasize communication, checking your email, emailing your professors or instructors, emailing your advisor, emailing your high school counselor. If you have any questions as it comes up, do not wait for it to build. So that's just another, I guess, piece of advice I'd recommend based on what we've seen, especially since we've been working remotely. Classes are taught at a faster pace compared to college. So again, we're on a quarter system. So we have 3 quarters in the typical school year. We have fall, winter, and spring quarters. Each quarter is about 3 months. And each quarter you'll register for a completely new class schedule. And those classes within that quarter. So for example, the most common class for a new student to take in their first quarter is English 101. You'll have that class your fall quarter, so for 3 months. Within that 1 quarter, you'll still learn about the same amount of material that's covered in a year-long high school class. So the material that you learn is taught at a much faster pace in college. Students are also responsible for registering for classes. So again, there's a lot more independence or responsibility on the students' end to make sure that they take the action of registering for their classes online, making sure that they're keeping track of important dates and deadlines, if they want to make any class schedule changes, etc. Again, advisors, kind of like similar role to your high school counselor, your college advisor can help you register and select classes based off of your goals. However, the action of actually going online and registering and adding classes or dropping classes is your responsibility. Also, high school and college calendars differ. So again, we're on a quarter system. Also, a lot of our breaks are not in alignment. So your winter break for high school might not exactly overlap with the college's winter break. Usually the winter break is for the most part overlapping pretty well, but spring breaks are definitely ones that are usually not overlapping. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. Okay, getting into the academics, and I'm going to try to pick up a little bit just to wrap up on time. We offer various degrees. Again, if your goal is to go to university, or if your goal is to do more something hands-on and you want to maybe start a job right after high school, we have options for both. Career Start, I just want to quickly highlight Career Start as the option for those hands-on programs. So some examples of our Career Start degrees or programs are computer information systems, criminal justice, early childhood education, hospitality and tourism, interior design and web development. Again, that's just a small sample. I would definitely recommend that you maybe take some time to view our website, which has a full list of our degree options. Covering this really quickly, this is just kind of a brief list of support services. So we have advising available. We have mental health counseling, career services, tutoring, disability support services, clubs and other activities that students can get involved in and reach out for support. And then getting on to one of the pieces I want to highlight are steps to enroll in Running Start. So there's essentially 5 steps to get started in Running Start. This is a general overview. I'm going to go into each step in a little bit more detail. The first step would be to apply for admissions to Highline College. This is a really key piece. Highline College is actually currently getting a new student database system starting February 8th. Why is that important for you all as folks who are not yet students at Highline? Because that's impacting our college admissions application. So I would recommend waiting to apply to the college until after February 22nd. That's something that's not typical for us, but because we're getting a new system currently, if you apply now, you're essentially going to need to do an extra step of having to activate yet another account when we go into our new system. So you're not going to be starting classes any earlier than next fall. So I would recommend that you go ahead and wait until at least after February 22nd to apply. To apply, you would simply go to our admissions website. This is the web link listed right here. So after February 22nd, go ahead and go on this website to apply. It should take about 20 to 30 minutes max, I would say. It's a pretty short application. You'll then get email with additional steps of what you'd complete, what you need to do after applying. After you apply is when you would determine your eligibility for Running Start. So in order to be eligible for Running Start, you have to place into college level English, which is English 101. You can do that in a variety of ways. This table right here summarizes that. So for students who have a minimum of a 3.0 cumulative GPA in high school, that automatically places you into English 101. So in order to demonstrate that you qualify for English 101, you would need to share a copy of your high school transcript with at least 3 semesters, or if I honestly forgot if Mount Rainier, if you all are on quarters this year, at least having your first 2 quarters of this school year recorded on your transcript in order to place into English 101. That would need to be sent to our placement office. Again, you don't need to know that information, who to contact right now. You will get that information in your confirmation email after you apply. Also, we have a few other placement options based on Smarter Balance, which I don't believe this class has. I might be wrong with that.
Yeah. our students did not have access to the Smarter Balance.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I'm positive. Again, there's a slew of placement options you can review. If you don't meet any of these requirements, this last one is what you'd want to do, is to take our Accuplacer reading assessment through Highline College. In order to place into English 101, students would have to score at least a score of 253 or higher and have at least a minimum 2.0 high school GPA. Again, that's done through our placement office, and testing's remote. You would just need a computer to complete testing. And from my experience working with them last year when we were enrolling Running Start students, students were able to get in for testing pretty quickly after they apply. For math placement's not required to do Running Start. However, you can review even today. After you submit your Running Start packet, we get you into new student orientation, which is all online. That's where you learn how to be a successful college student. That's how you learn how to register for classes and learn how to schedule an appointment to meet with a Running Start advisor for more long-term planning. Once registration opens, which will happen in mid to late May, that's when students can register for classes. And then again, you want to make sure that you're paying any applicable fees or other charges by any deadlines. I wanted to share some important dates. So I don't know if anyone in this audience is maybe already a junior or senior, maybe prepping for spring quarter potentially. These are our spring dates. And for most of you, you're probably going to be following our fall quarter dates. So registration for fall quarter begins May 24th. We'll be taking applications all the way up to September 24th. And our fall quarter classes start September 27th. I also want to leave you all with our contact information because, again, I know we're wrapping up, but I'm sure there are many questions. So feel free to get in contact with us by email at runningstart@highline.edu. Feel free to call us at 206-592-3583. And I would also encourage everyone to browse our website, runningstart.highline.edu, and start exploring and reading through some of our steps to enroll in more detail. I'll go ahead and leave this slide up. Do we all think we have time for any questions, or are we needing to wrap up at this point?
I'm just going to say that, we can stay on. So if people are finished and they have heard all they need to hear or want to hear, then please feel free to go ahead and leave the meeting. But if you do have questions, now would be a time to put them in the Q&A. But the presentations are finished for the evening, but if you do have questions, you can stick around.
I did want to add, just in terms of next steps for all of you, thinking about, okay, I'm making my decision on what I want to do next year. Now what? We're going to try to provide you with some next steps, some guides, and then we're going to, we'll also be collecting this information at registration. In terms of Running Start, I know that the next things that you need to do are the next steps that Chase put up on the screen, and those are on their website. But there is one more step that you're going to have to do, and that is prior to being able to actually register for your classes with them, you need to have a meeting with your high school counselor, and we will be doing that in a group format where we go over our expectations and kind of understandings that we expect families and students to agree to as they're going to Running Start. And a lot of it's really about that communication piece and making sure that you're checking in and following on and being independent. So anyway, so the next steps are really going to be forthcoming with registration. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're wondering, well, I don't know what to do now. I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to do it. That's how.
I'm noticing there's a lot of questions about what specific courses are offering, or what those specific courses are like, or how early they are. And I would really recommend that you go explore the Running Start website to see what different programs there are. It's my go-to reference. Yeah, we can show that again. So I will pull it up.
And I've seen a few people ask about copies of the slides. This presentation has been recorded. I don't know if you guys are able, Chase, if you're able to provide those may be your slides, but we will put the this presentation again up on, it'll be on our website. We'll be posting it in the Google Classroom. Just give us a few days to get all of that technical stuff taken care of.
I can definitely provide the slides. This is all. There's also a recording on our website too.
With the Running Start website, it is runningstart.highline.edu. And it has those eligibility requirements, those steps to enroll, info sessions, and then the forms and guides, which we reference all the time. So I encourage you to look through this and just play around, because often we will get questions about, well, where do I find this form? And we're like, check the website. So.
Would you mind if I, can you share your screen and I can navigate to view our college's programs in case folks maybe want to check out what programs we offer?
I think so. Can you do remote control?
While you're pulling this up, Chase and Karen, we often get the question around how the classes at Highline transfer out of state to out of state universities. I know I've answered that question a lot of times, but I think I would love to hear how you guys answer that question. And what you would advise a student who is thinking they might want to transfer out of state after doing Running Start.
I would say they generally transfer, but we always encourage students to reach out to that college directly.
We say that.
I have more confidence of course transferability within state. Although out of state, many do transfer to out of state colleges and universities, but we always recommend it's best to connect directly with that college.
So we say also. Thank you. Glad it's consistent.
I guess I would also like to add too, again, courses within our professional technical programs like interior design or criminal justice also have general transferability, but they do have, I would say, less transferability than many of the general ed courses. A lot of universities may only take up to, let's say, like a cap of like 15 credits of what we consider prof tech or trades. Maybe that's a term that's more understandable, like trade courses, like again, the criminal justice. So those usually have caps. And same thing, I would recommend reaching out to universities to learn more about their policies on those caps.
And I think you're able to control it now, Chase.
Okay. So our college's homepage is just highline.edu. And then, so from our homepage, if you, on our top navigation bar, hover over what we offer, you can go ahead and click on, I mean, you can click on a variety of things, but I recommend for more of a holistic view of our programs to click on Programs A to Z. That's what I usually look at to view all of our degrees. And so it gives you a large list of all of our programs at the college. So in the first column, it tells you the name of the program. In the second column, it tells you what transfer options there are within that program. It tells you if there's any professional technical options within that program. And then it gives you a little bit additional information as far as courses that fall within those programs, links to department websites, and faculty that teach within those programs. So this is a great page. I recommend, honestly, everyone take a look at this page in addition to the Running Start page for more information.
I think we don't have any questions left in the Q&A. Give you all a second to see if there's anything else you want to ask. But again, just for those of you that have asked, do I wait to hear from my counselor? What's next? Just remember, registration will be happening. It won't be the same. We won't be able to have those one-on-one meetings with you like we've had in prior years, but we will be having a form of registration in February, and that will be the time you'll indicate to us which program, if any program. Remember, as we mentioned on Tuesday during our advisory presentation, most students will just continue on and take classes at Mount Rainier. There's no requirement for you to pick one of these programs. They're just options. And at registration, if you opt to choose one of these programs, then that will be a time when you'll indicate to us, and you'll also follow those the steps to enroll if you're going to if you're interested in Running Start. There's a question that just popped up about IB. We're not covering IB tonight. There's been an IB presentation. Ms. Fairchild was at our advisory presentation on Tuesday. We're going to have that posted as well soon, so you can watch that again and make sure you reach out to Ms. Fairchild if you are planning to sign up for the full IB diploma program. So, and I believe her presentation, or at least the slides, are posted somewhere. Counselors,
she said she was getting them on our school website. There's a couple of specific tabs for the IB and the IB diploma through the Mount Rainier website.
Any other questions that Running Start folks or Mount Rainier counselors can answer for you? Well, you've got us.
So thank you again for joining. Overall, we hopefully you've learned a lot of information about PSSC and Running Start. We will be posting references in Google Classroom. And thank you for your time.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.